Hi, and welcome to Copper Bulletins. Hi, Rob. We've invited you on today,
Hello.
and no Mikey today, but Derek is
Hello, I'm back.
co-hosting, lurking, whatever.
I'm
We are
here.
gonna, and let's get on with it. Let's chat about the warning. We've not had a lot of news on the album in the last couple of weeks, but a lot's gone on. I think it's been quite exciting. I think the first thing that we have to talk about are the blossoming Twitch careers of the band. Who've gone
That's
from
right,
like
yes. They've all set up their own Twitch accounts now.
Tell the truth, Rob. Did you know what Twitch was before the last fortnight or so?
Okay.
Only when I have a cramp of some kind.
¿Qué tienes que hacer, Pau?
No,
Subir esos
I
libros.
know I'm
Yeah.
aware of it, yes. Only because if you spend enough time in the YouTube world and
Okay,
videos get,
we're gonna
what do they
we're
call
gonna
it?
nail it. We're gonna nail
When they
it.
get
Yeah.
bounced, they'll say, well, you can go watch me on Twitch
Yes,
instead.
that's true. They do
So
that, don't they?
I was,
¿Por qué no? ¿Por qué no le
oh,
haces?
I
¿Por qué
was
no le
of
haces?
it, but did I have a Twitch account before they opened one? No. Much like Instagram? No, I had none of those things until the warning came into my life. So.
No,
The Twitch is
please, déjame en
interesting
paz.
because
¿Por
there's
qué
a
me
lot of
cansa?
people out there, the age range of warning. So
Pau.
I'm wondering how the
Okay,
older
look.
fans who don't necessarily aren't
I know what
into
I have to
games
do.
and stuff like that,
It's
how
fine.
they respond to it. But
Paz
for the
tranquila.
warnings perspective, I think it's
Come on.
easy content
Okay.
for them. It's something they love to do anyway. So I think it's,
You're
it works out
fine.
great
You're fine.
for them.
Definitely, yes. I think I'm getting on as many of the social media platforms is only a good thing for them. Expand the get out there to different generations and expand the fan base.
I guess it's a nice way to double up as well because they play video games anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if obviously it's one of those things you might it can be your sort of your alone time. This is my wind down. But if they want, they can say, "Well, I'll do a stream." That way, I double up. I get to play my video game, and I get a bit of fan content out of it as well. So I know it seems to
I
work
think
quite
it's
nicely.
great for Ale especially. It's great. I think it makes it easier for her to communicate, which she's not as comfortable communicating on
Yeah.
her own. So
Well, she
I
did
think
say that.
this is great for her.
She says if I feel stuck for something today, I can just talk about what I'm doing in the game. But
Yeah, my
I mean,
favorite so far has been. Sorry, go ahead.
you were going to say we're going to talk about Powell's Little Nightmare stream.
That was exactly what I was going to say. That has been my favorite by far.
I didn't see that stream because I was asleep because it was at like 2 a.m.
It'll wake you up if you have
Yeah.
earbuds on because she's screaming all the way through it.
But I saw someone posted like a highlight clip in I think it was on Discord on the band server. And it's one of the funniest things I've seen in ages.
Yeah. No, it was a good time.
Powell's over 2,000 subscribers already, and I think Ali and Danny probably aren't that far behind. And I think Pow is deliberately trying to keep her streaming numbers up because she's just gunning for affiliate as soon as possible.
Yeah,
which
I think
at this rate is going to happen like this week.
probably yes.
Because I think you only need 50 followers to go for affiliate, don't you?
I can't remember what it is on Twitch, but yeah, I don't think it's.
I think for affiliate it's 50, and then obviously you have to have a certain amount of hours that you've done to qualify.
Right, yeah.
Is affiliate some form of verification or?
Yeah, and I think you can start to people can give you money then.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but that will be interesting to see because those first streams obviously will have just been full of warning fans.
Yeah.
But the way Twitch works, if someone was looking for a stream of their favorite game, they will have picked up some normal from people from the regular streaming audience will have found them. So that'll be really interesting to see how that overlaps as it grows.
I think that's the other interesting thing about what they're doing on Twitch as well is it's not really band related. It's just them chilling, playing games, which is a fun thing as well. It's nice just to see them sort of relax and doing this, and not necessarily for it being band related.
Yeah, bit of a different environment, and
Yeah.
Hello.
feels a
It's
bit
a way
more
to
low
Poor you
key.
Sorry.
guys.
It feels a way
Okay,
like a way for them
ooh.
to provide
Do I need to
interaction
grab the shoe?
without
Do I need
having
to
to
grab the
give it
shoe?
so
¿Necesito
much.
agarrar el zapato?
Sorry,
Yes.
without having to give it so much thought.
Ooh. Bueno, necesito
And I
agarrar
think
el zapato para
it's
todos.
a bit of a break for them. Instead of what do I do for POW Day, what do I do for Rally Day?
Hi,
Let's do a
Alicia.
Twitch, and people will have a
Yeah.
good time. And
That's it.
you know, the people who are into that will do that.
I mean, I know Pau said at the end of one of hers, she says, "Oh, this has been great. It's been really nice just being able to hang out with you guys and you know,
Okay, so guys, this is like the
just
tutorial part
chatting with
of
us,
the
and
game.
you know, she was playing the game, and
Guys, I'm sorry for the sniffles.
it was really enjoyable. I mean, I didn't
I'm sorry.
really get much of what was going on in the game, but you know, it
Say
was
the
just
word.
a chance to
Sniffles, sniffling,
hang out with Pau. So
Sniffling is the
what's not to love about
I
it, you
don't
know?
know. I'm confused.
And the same, you know, with
Okay.
Ali, Danny
Yeah,
as well. You know,
it
just
is.
it's nice just getting a
Okay,
chance
so
to
is this a trap
hang
or
out and
something?
watching them.
Like, am I
You know, and
gonna
they're more
die?
chilled and relaxed as well. It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and,
goals in the games are way over my head. But Little Nightmares is just don't die. That's
yeah,
it.
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact,
Or not?
a little bit more innocent.
Or
And I can't even remember the one that Fire Emblem Three Houses that
Yes.
Danny was playing.
Yeah.
I kind of figured that one out eventually, but it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a, if you're not much of a gamer, that's very sort of kind of obscure to try and follow.
This is the age disconnect thing, because for me, I was a Pac-Man Donkey Kong man. So you know, I enjoy them because they're playing them. But
Yeah,
hey, no offense, if it's one of us playing it, I'm not sitting there watching playing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But if they're,
yeah.
I could watch them, you know, make a salad. I mean, I have watched the
Well, we've
girl make
watched,
a freaking
yeah,
cake. So
yeah, we
there's
have
just something
watched
about them.
Cooking with the
Yeah,
Warning.
yeah. That's just they have a gift for connecting with people. I don't know how to explain it. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
so. Danny got a new guitar. The
Yes.
Fender Acoustasonic. Is
Yes, that's correct.
that what it's called? I can't remember. Very nice. And she's given it as a spin on her Instagram. So if you go onto her account, her last post is an IGTV of her doing a little ditty. I've forgotten what the song is. I looked it up specifically before, so I know, and I've already forgotten. You think anyone will notice if I just like quietly grab my phone?
I don't see anything.
No.
No, no one will notice.
I could try to distract people.
Yeah. Moving so impossibly slowly that I'm almost invisible.
Pay no attention to the man to your left.
Growing
Which
Season
direction
by
you're gonna? Oh,
Growing Season by Love You Later. But
okay.
I looked up a little bit. I'm kind of out of the loop with gear. Kind of not bought anything for a while. But that Acoustasonic, so it lets you do, when plugged in, you can change the kind of sounds it does. So kind of like a modeler. So that's something like that's really cool for writing, because you could be doing an acoustic part, then you'll go, actually, I wonder how this would sound on a 12 string. And rather have to go and pick up a 12 string, or if you don't have one, go and buy a 12 string. You can just flick the sound. You'll get. You probably wouldn't record the part with that. You'd go and get a proper one, but you can at least experiment to see how it's going to sound pretty easily.
Yeah. Someone, I think on Patreon, I believe it was, said the guitar retails for about $2,000. So that's not high end at all. I don't think it's necessarily designed to be. I think it's designed to be what you're saying. Maybe just to give some adaptability to players who don't want to switch instruments all the time. I wish very much that I had learned to play an instrument. Well, I did. I played trumpet, but I also sang, and that might not have been the best combination to put together. It's very hard
Yeah,
to do
it's
both.
very hard to sing and play the trumpet. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried, and it just gets messy. So I gave up on that when I was young. But yeah, I used to play trumpet and sing.
I think you would.
In the old days.
I think there's definitely a niche for someone who can sing and play the trumpet at the same time. That's going to get you.
There would be.
That's
yes.
a yes from Simon. That is. Definitely.
Okay.
And speaking of Danny Day, so we had a little Discord listening party, and Danny's also posted the songs to Instagram as well and to the Spotify playlist, which I will link. I can't link it, can I? I'll put the link in the description and I'll stick a picture of it up, probably over Derek's face because Rob's the guest and that would be rude.
No, yeah, just stick it over my face. That's perfectly acceptable.
But that was again nice. That was really interesting because that was songs she didn't like at first, but then did start to like. And
right. And then she gave a little reason why.
Yeah.
You know, a little monologue after each song. So that was fun and interesting.
Yeah, and wildly different songs as well. Although I did notice a theme. Obviously, Derek's now feeling left out because he was asleep or something.
Yeah, I was asleep because I was up at silly o'clock for work this morning.
Oh.
Pay those bills. But a theme of the list of the playlist was at least 3 of the 5 songs were songs that Pow had found and then just constantly played at her until she liked them. And everyone's got one friend like that. Certainly when I mean, maybe not so much now. It's like, obviously, getting older and stuff. But back in like school, college, university, whatever, everyone had that one friend that was always going, "Oh, you got to listen to this."
Yes, I certainly had a friend like that.
Yeah. And if you didn't have one, it's because you were that friend.
Hey, you were that person.
Good point. One of my best friends kept constantly trying to get me into Breaking Benjamin, just constantly. And this is obviously some years ago. I said, okay, fine. And it is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he hammered on it so much that I got tired of just hearing the name Breaking Benjamin. There comes a point to where it's like, okay, I'll get to it, And now it's funny. It kind of dovetails with the warnings since David.
I was going to say, you just described how everyone who's friends with a Warning fan feels.
Mm-hmm. But David Bendeth, of course, produced them as well. So it's an interesting
he did, yes.
thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I've lost my train of thought. What were we talking about before this?
Where were we on? I Am, was it? No, it wasn't that.
Oh, no, I don't think it was that.
Damn.
The listening party.
Yes, the listening party.
Yes, we went off on a tangent there. But then that just went kind of... It just turned into a massive... Because obviously there's a voice text channel. And it just kind of went mental with GIFs and stuff. You couldn't keep up with it. It was flying by so fast. But it was also really good fun. And it was cool to see... Because they lowered the Patreon requirements for Discord for that day, so you could just join on a lower tier if you wanted to join in the activity.
Right.
So there was a big influx of new patrons as well. Hopefully, some of them stuck around. But even that, it was good fun.
My gauge on those kind of things isn't so much whether I enjoy it, although of course I will, but that they do. I really like that Pow and Danny really enjoy those interactions, and clearly they do, because you tell they're laughing at how crazy some of the GIFs are and all that stuff. So I enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, you feel that also the success of these things really does matter a lot to them. They put a lot of thought into these activities, put a lot of effort in, but they also it's not lip service. They really want these to be a success.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
I remember. I think when Pow she did a live on TikTok, and she was like, she wasn't convinced anyone was going to watch it.
Yes.
And it amazes me how they can still be sort of so. I guess it's not quite lacking in confidence, but just that sort of. I don't want to watch this.
It's
like if you sat there watching you could sit there reading the phone book, and there'd be 500 people watching it. That's how it is now.
Yeah, it's part humility and part insecurity, but yeah, I think you're right. It is remarkable that even now they're not 100% sure that anyone's going to care enough to watch.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. You know?
And I think in many ways that's just in general that's a good way to be. I think for me, I'd rather be that side of things than the other side, to be overconfident and
Yes,
arrogant.
yeah.
Yes. This podcast will have 1 million views. That's what I think.
I really don't think that's the case. But we keep getting lots of teasers from the band that things are happening soon.
Soon.
That's the new dirty word. Soon.
It's one of those, when you see a word so many times and it stops looking like a real word.
Yes.
It's got to that point with soon.
Yeah. One thing that I don't entirely understand, and I understand why, Lava's in charge of everything when it comes to release dates and promotion. That's what they're paid to do. So
yeah.
I understand that. I'm not 100% sure why they can't at least tell us what it's called. You don't have to play a note.
Maybe they haven't decided yet.
I don't buy that. I think they know. They're just not saying. Maybe they're not being allowed to say. You don't have to play a note of music. Just tell us what it's called.
To be honest, I'd rather find out when it's released. I guess this is kind of like this is the same thing as gender reveal parties, isn't it? I guess some people would rather know beforehand. Some people like to find out.
For
at
babies.
the time of the thing appearing.
Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just keeping that bit of mystery about it as well. It keeps people talking. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not saying it makes me angry or anything. It's not that. It's just one of those things that it's just a name,
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to roll it back a bit. When we were talking about Twitch, I don't think anything sums up the personalities of the 3 band members like the Twitch bios. So, like, Danny and Power both got fairly lengthy ones saying, "Oh, streamer, musician, songwriter. Not sure if I'm doing this right," and I think they've actually run out of space to put stuff. Ali's Twitch bio just says bass player.
Yep.
And it's like,
yes,
that's exactly what I'd expect.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah.
Not wasting words here. Just like, that's all you need to know. Carry on.
Yeah, it's funny. It almost feels like she's selling herself short a little bit. I wish she wouldn't do that because she's credited as a songwriter too. You can add that you're a songwriter for the warning also. I don't think she considers herself to be a songwriter, even though she has credit, but Ali's had her hand in everything. It's just behind where we don't really see it, but it's in there. She cares as much as they do. She just doesn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
She just doesn't have as much overt, I guess, interest in putting everything out there. Her IG is the same. Bass player for the warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of I don't know is this a bass player thing, because I think I'm thinking like Bill Wyman in the Stones. He was the same. He was just quietly in the background, just getting on with his thing.
Yeah.
Then again, you've got Gene Simmons, so that kind of that kind of completely throws that one out of the window. But
yeah,
I tend to generally associate bassists with just like chilling, just a step back from everyone else, just getting on with their thing. So, Rob, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Copper Bulletins.
Thank you.
Good to have you. You've been floating around.
Yes.
Obviously, Patreon and on Discord and Mikey's server as well.
I've been around a while now.
Times.
Yeah, I have. It's I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor to be here.
So Rob,
yes.
One thing I've got to ask. So, how did you discover the band? What was your journey?
Well, I had the same journey as anyone else. A lot of others.
Don't start with it all started when I was born in Minnesota.
I was born a small. No, that's from Steve Martin. I'm not going to go there. No, a couple of years back, I was doing what a lot of people do. I was just floating around YouTube looking for music, and I came upon Phil from Wings of Pegasus, who still
All right, so
to
yeah.
this day, Phil from Wings of Pegasus is the gold standard as far as I'm concerned, as far as those things go. And on International Women's Day in 2019, yeah, he showed Survive, the TEDx Survive, and I saw that, and I saw it again. I thought, I can't believe what I'm watching. I was just overwhelmed by how good they already were, and they just have a natural magnetism about them beyond the fact that it just blows you away how good they are. And, you know, they're way better than that now. But even back then, they had astounding, just natural charisma. And
Yeah.
so then from there, I kind of fell down the hole that everyone talks about. And I started listening to other music. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a concept album that works. I mean, people go their whole musicians, great musicians, go their entire careers and can't do a concept album that works. That's very hard to do.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
the songwriting almost from the
Yeah.
beginning was just astoundingly good. And so that's what really attracted me at first. But yeah, I mean, part of me almost doesn't want to credit a reaction video. I have a love-hate relationship with reaction videos. But
I totally get that. Totally get it.
because Phil, the problem is when you start with someone like Phil,
Yeah.
who's a genuine musician, who knows what he's doing, he's relentlessly positive. He gives a really good bio with great production. He's like I said, a fabulous guitarist himself. He actually teaches me things. And then I go to a guy with 300 followers who just sits there and goes, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah.
Okay, you
The,
know,
the
but
the reaction videos is interesting. I know we've talked about them before,
yeah.
but I remember when it felt like it was starting to be a thing, and it was, but now it's like there's so
Add this disclaimer. I have great respect for the guys who are, I don't want to say addicts. That's the wrong word to use. The guys who are really dedicated on the Patreon Discord page to reactions. I mean, they go out there and they market like crazy.
yes,
And there is no
yeah,
denying that there have been people brought in because of the work of those guys. So mad respect to
no,
those guys. It's
absolutely,
just not something that I could do, but God bless
no,
them for doing it, you know.
to the extent we've even had reactors join Patreon,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yes,
is, you know,
yeah.
Run.
But
so yeah, no, they do
yeah.
sterling work in
Yeah.
tapping up reactors, finding new ones.
Right, and finding someone else and a certain amount of subscribers. And there is no
Yeah.
denying that Phil and then the other obvious big fish, Sean Trapp, those two
Yes.
reactors made huge strides for the warning. Sean Track and Phil added quite a few subscribers and some fairly significant ones. So, you know, and people who really market for them like crazy, Mad Dog markets like a madman for them. And he found them the same way I did on the same exact reaction video. But anyway, getting off the reaction video train, getting back to mine. So I had started watching those and I fell down the hole of watching these videos and listening to this music. And then I started catching a few interviews in both languages. I don't speak Spanish at all. I understand a small amount. So, you know, bits in here and there.
Basically,
Anyway,
the lyrics to Narcissista.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole other topic. But anyway, so I enjoyed that very much. And then they started, you know, I saw about Patreon and I knew what it was. Wasn't familiar at all, but I thought, gosh, I feel like I want to be a part of this. I'm spending so much time, hours and hours after work going through and I'm not watching anything else anymore except the stuff that these three are doing. And I'm like, am I okay? And then I thought, no, this is legit. This is so freaking good. So finally, I joined on Patreon, and then I saw they had live chats. I'm like, oh, the idea just to tell them how great I think they are.
Yeah.
And I thought, so I'll just join this VIP thing for a month maybe and do one of the chats. And I've never dropped
That's
since.
not how it works.
I've never
That's
dropped.
not how any of this
I've
works.
gone up, not down. So
Yeah.
now I've been, ultimate for quite a while. But the point is that, go ahead.
I'm intrigued to if you sort of feel the same way I do about this, and you too, Derek, in that, like you say, with the whole Patreon thing and some of the stuff they do there, and also just the general social media presence. Did it make you think about the bands you grew up listening to and thinking, I would have killed to have had this kind of stuff around when I was, a teenager, discovering the bands I grew up listening to. Like for me, so bands like Iron Maiden or, AC/DC and stuff like that back in the day.
Oh, definitely, yeah, yeah. I mean, there was, yeah. If we'd had that back in the day, that would have been absolutely fantastic. I would be absolutely skint. You know, I really wish I could afford to be VIP or Ultimate, because I would do it at a heartbeat. Because I mean, with what you were saying there, Rob, I was like in full agreement. Because I was like came across
Don't
them
mind
and
this.
then
There's nothing happening
started listening to their own
here.
their own stuff, and I fell down the rabbit hole. And I was like, yeah, I've got to join this Patreon. Yeah, they deserve to get my money. I'm $25 tier. But yeah, I was completely blown away as well by what I was listening to, and finding myself on YouTube, and the only thing I was listening to was, or was going through all the
It's
Warning
remarkable
stuff,
how it happens.
and continually going. And then it's not even like you listen to it like,
Weird
that
how
was good. It's like, I've got to listen to that
Yeah.
again. And it's like, come in from work the next day, and it's like,
It's weird how
back
in many
onto
ways
YouTube.
Patreon
I
always
need to get more of
doubles up
this.
as a kind of Alcoholics Anonymous group. It's for the band. It's like lots of people just having to come together and admit, I have a problem.
Yeah.
But in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because music's been such a huge, well, it's not just me, everybody. Music's been a huge part of my life for a very long time. So to come upon this, the way I came upon it, that's unprecedented. I mean, things have changed, obviously, but still, the idea that I found them the way I found them, and then I just fell down the hole of watching everything that they do. But I mean, I went from just clicking on the latest thing that Phil from Wings of Pegasus is playing to buying a plane ticket to Mexico in a month. That's astounding when you really think about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So which show was that then?
My first show was Porto Vivi. I said it with a Spanish accent to show off. That was my first show. Yeah.
Not a bad first one.
Yeah. So March of 2019
Yeah,
I found
exactly.
them, and
Not a
then
bad
by
first one at all.
April, early May, I had already bought plane tickets and set up a place to stay. And I travel alone. I live alone. I'm a lonely man, and so I found my way down there. And again, my Spanish is incredibly limited. I live in Florida, so Spanish is spoken all around me, but it's still not the same as when you're actually in the country surrounded by people. Thankfully, Monterrey is a very bilingual city. A lot of people speak both languages, and everybody with me was very nice. Even so, that's a huge leap of faith I took going down there on my own with people I had known for a month or two over the internet to go see a band. But
you could end up just like coming back minus a kidney or something.
Certainly. But I was there, and Narcisista was premiered on Patreon the day.
Primera vez.
Yes.
Con mucho pasión.
Yes. But as far as the studio recording actually came out on Patreon like the day before, if you guys remember that. And so I'm in my hotel, like literally where I was like 10 floors above where they played in that complex, Pabellon M. So I'm sitting there in the hotel, and I just listened to it over. I couldn't believe how much it's still. I people who say they don't have a favorite Warning song, I can't lie. Narcisista is my favorite Warning song. I fell for that song from the first note, and
I remember hearing about it coming out, and I won't lie, I was like, one actually in Spanish. Is that gonna affect whether I enjoy it or not? No, absolute banger. Hello, editing Mark here. I've decided during the edit that I'm going to split this podcast into two, mainly because Rob gave us so much really interesting stuff and had some really great stories, and it was going to get a bit long and I didn't want to cut stuff out. Also, because shortly after this bit, the camera stopped recording for several minutes. In all honesty, I think it was my cat. I think he trod on the laptop trackpad and I didn't realise. So I'm going to try and think of something to do, because I've still got the audio, and I'll edit that together in some way so we don't lose it. And I'll upload a second part sometime over the next week or so. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for part 2.